If there's one thing Scott Morrison is known for on the global stage, it's going to Hawaii during the bushfires. What a great thing to be remembered for. If there was another, it'd probably be some guy yelling at him.
Everyone get off the grass, please.
Sure, let's just move back from there.
But if there was one more, it'd probably be picking a war with China. A clear display of his incredible intellect as here's Australia's population, here's China's. Ding ding. From calling for a COVID inquiry when no one else was asking for one to being furious, absolutely outraged that their government makes memes. Can't their government just be a meme? Scott Morrison has defined himself on the world stage as being an anti-Chinese crusader, but it's honestly like me trying to cultivate a global image based on liking pedestrian. It's the exact opposite of the truth. I f***ing hate pedestrian. In fact, I think everyone should go and comment bomb their Facebook page now. Just write under every article they post, "You are owned by Peter Costello." Come on, don't you think that's a good idea? Like and subscribe if you think it's a good idea. What do you think about it, Jack? I think that's a terrific idea, Geordies, and I also think it's a terrific idea to do t-shirt ads this early in the video. You heard the man, friendlygeordies.com. Let's go through just how much Mr. Tough on China has sold off to the Chinese. And in case you're thinking, yeah mate, I'm Scotty from marketing, I've sold them crap. That is a good gag. Good on you, ScoMao. But have you ever heard of S. Kidman & Co? No, it's not a series of growths on Nicole Kidman's back and one of them's called Sam. It's a company that boasts of owning 1.3% of Australia's landmass. It was put for sale in 2015 and you know who was interested in buying it? Marcus Paul probably, but he didn't have the money. Hadn't started on Tourishim yet. But you know who did have the money? The Chinese. And this isn't a beat up on China specifically. I don't care what country it is. I would be just as terrified of Jamaica owning 1.3% of this nation. Maybe not Bhutan. I really feel like Australia would be a better place if Bhutan owned specifically 1.3% of this nation. But as usual, Scott Morrison talked a very tough game about it not being in the national interest, until media fervour died down, at which point he allowed an even worse deal to go ahead, which wasn't just the Chinese, but Gina Rinehart too. All the attention did was give Scott Morrison more time to think about how he could make a more deal. Not yet satiated with allowing the sell-off of S. Kidman & Co, which was Australia's largest beef producer, he also sold off Australia's largest dairy business to China too. What's with his obsession with selling off Australia's biggest things? Mount Kosciuszko? Yeah, sell it off. It's not that big anyway. Great Barrier Reef? Well, it's going off faster than milk does anyway, so see if that billionaire that bought the dairy farm's interested. I'm sure there won't be any consequences to having a foreign company owning our food sources. I mean, apart from the fact that ever since the sale of the company, it's been plagued with board resignations and protests over poor management. But I'm sure that's where it ends, with declining productivity. The third best outcome, right after increased and stagnant. Then in 2019, if owning the biggest dairy company wasn't enough, Scott Morrison approved the sale of Australia's largest baby formula producer. If you are scared, as Scott Morrison pretends that he is, of China invading Australia, you know what would stop them? Just like the Germans invading Russia and then they burnt all their crops, blowing up the baby formula factories. Then they'd have nothing they wanted from us. But you just gave them Poland. He also approved the sale of the $4 billion energy company Alinta to China. This was from the same man that was concerned about TikTok harbouring our data. Alinta's been accused of doing exactly that. What else you want, guys? ASIO? What about ASIO? $50. That one even pissed off Sky News, and the only thing that pisses off Sky News is everything except Scott Morrison, and yet he found a way to mess up that winning streak. Not yet satisfied with jeopardising our food security, ScoMao looked down the list of basic human needs. Let's see, housing, food, leverage against an invasion. Oh, we haven't sold off water yet. You can survive 2 days without that. That's more than enough time to think up a plan B. To quote that Penny from The Simpsons. Thanks to fantastic investigative journalism from Callum Foote at Michael West, we now know that foreigners don't have to pay capital gains tax on the profits they make from speculating on our water. But Aussie farmers do. As such, both China and the US own 2% of our water each, and they don't have to pay tax on it. I'm sorry, but can you think of a worse deal? I can't, but I'll tell you who can. The latest addition to the Mr. Men series, Mr. Smug. Hey. Cubby Station, one of the largest and most evil water owners in Australia, which is saying a lot, owned by the Chinese. What is it at this point?
I mean, they also own f***ing Burwood too.
Labor in 2019 were running on a platform of forcing the owners to comply with Australia's foreign ownership laws and sell a large stake of it. You know what the Liberals were running on?
Labor loves China.
Also, if we're elected, we'll allow China to break the laws that are aimed at preserving the essence of life.
But Labor's colour and the Chinese flag's colour are the same. Surely that makes you see red.
Scott Morrison personally extended their deadline to sell off a large stake. That was in 2016. In 2019, Treasurer Josh Frydenberg extended their deadline again. So thanks to the oh-so-tough-on-China Liberal Party, the Chinese own our water, our land, our energy sources, our food, which for a party that is constantly hinting at World War III, how else could you possibly help with an invasion? Sell a port?
No, we didn't have to. NT Liberals took care of that.
Oh. Well, it's nice to see federal and state and territory governments working together. In 2015, the NT Liberal government approved the sale of the Port of Darwin to a Chinese Communist Party-linked company, and Scott Morrison as Treasurer could have stopped it, but seeing as he gives a whole new meaning to the top-end slogan, "See you in the NT," he didn't. Now, I know all the members of the intellectual dark web are just wriggling around on their keyboards.
What? Labor's in bed with China more. ScoMao's the best of a bad lot.
Not even the Americans think that. Obama was pissed with the sale. And I think America hates China a little more than you do, seeing as they're the ones spending billions on news stories and think tanks making you hate them. Of course they're pissed with ScoMao, which makes me cool with them again. Enemy of my enemy, man. Like and subscribe if you can get behind it. This is not a best of the bad bunch scenario. True blue Aussie Labor are trying to force the coalition to use their own foreign veto powers to unwind the Port of Darwin sale. But of course, Shanghai ScoMao is saying diddy no. Still not convinced? It's pretty much the exact same story with the Port of Newcastle. And now that the Chinese have a way in, what would really help in some sort of invasion scenario is if they had some sort of intel, some sort of insider knowledge. Oh, don't worry about that, China. I'll fix you up. In fact, I'll pay you to have our data. How does that sound? Scott Morrison is both escalating tensions with China while simultaneously selling off our assets and paying them to hoard our military secrets. Labor, on the other hand, has a proven track record of protecting Australia's sovereignty and has the added bonus of not trying to start a war with one of the most powerful countries on earth because they need a social media post. This is an issue I really think you can make memes on. Hashtag ScoMao. We can really hit him on this one. Make a bunch of which one's which trick question. They're the same. ScoMao. So like this video, subscribe, and just clip this out. It's boomer friendly. Spread the message everywhere you can.
The Port of Darwin, the Port of Newcastle, largest baby formula producer, $4 billion energy company, Australia's defence secrets, largest dairy farming business, largest beef business that accounts for 1.3% of Australia's land. This is what ScoMao, or is it ScoMao, has sold to China. Australia, not for sale.
Tickets for my new show in the description. See you there.
Please share and comment below. Comment.